Welcome engineers, my name is TravisIQ, and today we're answering the question, is the CCNA still worth it in 2025? Short answer, yes. Why though? All right, let's get started. We're not in the void, as is always the case, but we're still answering questions here. So is the CCNA still worth it? I've already told you that I think that it is. Let me give you a couple of questions that I've received and why I think that it's still valuable. The first one is, and I've noticed this a lot, is someone got a CCNA and is having a hard time finding a job. I will tell you, I got a PhD and had a hard time finding a job. The amount of time that someone takes to find a job is not correlated with the value of that cert. There are a ton of people who have received this certification from Cisco in networking that have found a job either as a direct result or have gotten a foot in the door as a result of this certification. It is an extremely valuable certification. I got mine back in 2008, and that you could make an argument that back in 2008, when it was a little bit less common, the cert maybe had a little bit more value at that time, but I wouldn't say that there is a huge difference, and I would argue that it's still extremely valuable to this day. So just because someone got the cert and didn't find the results that they were looking for does not mean that you will have the same results. Also, there are a number of ancillary things. I talked in a previous video about getting a job in 2025. And how a lot of this is the way that you frame yourself, your ancillary experiences, not relevant experience. I said ancillary, things that you have done to separate yourself, as well as certifications. This certification in network infrastructure from the largest network infrastructure company out there is extremely valuable. And understanding how the underlying network infrastructure works is going to be valuable for a number of different jobs and positions. Ethical hacking, if you want to go that route. I know offensive security is a hard position to get. Cybersecurity in general, network infrastructure, even help desk. These are all really important positions that the CCNA would help you with. Number two, and I get this all the time in my courses actually, is what about with the move to cloud, Travis? Is networking and network infrastructure valuable now that everything's going cloud? I would actually argue that it's even more valuable. And for the folks that are hiring and actually know this space very well, they will tell you the same thing. Why is it more valuable that we're moving to cloud? The cloud is not just a thing out there that handles this stuff for you. The cloud is an abstraction of all of the physical layers anyways. And so if you don't know what the physical layers are doing, if you're just talking about virtual NICs and vSwitches and virtual router interfaces, V whatever, and you have a nice little GUI, if you don't know what that GUI is doing, why that GUI is choosing the IP addresses that it is, what DHCP is actually doing behind the scenes, why SMB is functioning the way that it is, why these bridging protocols are messing up on you, right, with BPDUs and BPDU guard and whatnot, if you don't have a deep understanding of that already, then abstracting it away is going to make it more obscure to you. It's going to make it harder for you. You actually have to have a better understanding of the underlying network infrastructure if you want to troubleshoot these cloud issues effectively. Yes, you might have to understand some of the cloud GUI components, and there is some differences in operational functionality, but the underlying network infrastructure technology is extremely valuable to you. Finally, then the last one is, this is more of a people thinking through things, but I get the question a lot, is there a better certification out there for me? What if I went with CompTIA? What if I went with EC Council? What about Juniper or Palo Alto? That's fine. I will actually tell you, right, that I don't care what certification you go with. I think that there are a ton of valuable certs out there, and CompTIA puts some valuable certifications out there. I think CCNA is right at the top of that list. But realistically, if you're in this video, you're thinking about doing the CCNA, pick a direction and do it. No one is going to think less of you if you achieved something that is difficult, even if it's not exactly explicitly related to the direction your career ultimately ends up going. Let me give you an example. I currently hold, this never goes away, but a PhD in chemical engineering from a major state university. I am in cybersecurity, network infrastructure, and training and consulting and building these programs. That's what I do for a living. So no one holds it against me that my underlying certification, my underlying education is in a field that is both extremely technical, but not explicitly related to network infrastructure and cybersecurity. Pick a direction, decide on it, commit to it, and go to it. If you're here thinking about the CCNA, do this. Get a CCNA certification, commit to it, get the certification, and then tailor your job postings and tailor your story to the things that you have done in your life and the stuff that you've committed to. That is why the CCNA is still valuable. That's how I think it can benefit you. And as is always the case, engineer, break stuff, have fun. I'm out.